And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Lakers Outsiders podcast. We have a special edition show podcast for you today. We are going to put together our first group 2016 NBA mock draft for not just the first round, we're going to include the Lakers' second round pick today. So that'll go through the first 32 picks of the draft. I'll go ahead and introduce everybody real quickly. I'm your host, Gary Kester. Just going from my left to right. First time on the podcast is Dylan Heiser. Dylan, you're at DA Heiser on Twitter, right?
You're right. Right.
All right. Dylan and I had quite the battle trying to get the Lakers picks today in the last couple of days.
I can't believe it ended up 50-50 with that poll, though. Like, that's ridiculous.
When I was following it, and I swear people were voting to make sure that happened. So I wasn't surprised.
I believe it, yeah.
And then next to him is Hani. Hani has joined me countless times on the podcast. Why? I don't know why. I never invite him, but he just shows up. Hani, how's it going?
I'm always just hanging out at the hangout, waiting for you.
All right, and next to him is Jacob Rude, who has, again, a terrible shirt on today, but I guess we'll allow it since college basketball season's over. Jacob, what's going on, man?
I am doing well. Glad you finally have brought back a good beard to the program, unlike whatever Honey claims he has.
Oh, I forgot about the battle that you guys have.
It's not a battle.
Oh, that's all right. Hani is a certified math genius, so he's got that to his resume. And then finally is last but probably least is Kyle Hartwick. Kyle, it's been a while since you've been on the podcast, man. What you been up to?
Kind of keeping my eye off of Lakers basketball until the good news happened. We all know what that was, and then the better news after that. So I'm ready to get back into it. So
I was gonna say, at this rate, you might want to keep your eyes off of Lakers basketball until 2019 or so.
Right.
No, okay. So let me run down the rules real quick. We don't want this thing to go too long, but so we're doing a mock draft. Ty Luong his Twitter is at TyLuong33, I think, is also going to be picking with us. So we've got 6 people making the picks. We're all going to put on our imaginary general manager hats today. And we're going to pick the first 32 picks of the draft. And, that's pretty much it. You guys have any questions before we start?
Nope.
Nope. All right. If you mispronounce that prospect's name, that's a $10 fine. So.
Oh, buddy.
Where does the money go?
Oh, it goes straight to me.
Well,
I'll be paying myself money too, so don't worry about it. All right, so Dylan and I actually tied on the Twitter poll today to get the Lakers picks. So I decided what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him the second pick since it's basically whoever doesn't go number 1. And then for the 32nd pick, me and Dylan will both make a pick since it's the last pick. We'll each make one and kind of explain why. So, all right. So I already know who I'm going to take with the Sixers. The Sixers are up first. So with the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Brandon Ingram from Duke.
Darn.
Boo.
A lot of people are going to probably not like the pick, but it's like, how many front court players do you need that have to be in the paint to score, you know? Although, if they make a trade, which I could see, maybe a trade or two with some of their young guys, I could see them going in a different direction, which I'm sure Dylan is going to do. So Dylan's on the clock with the Lakers at number 2.
The Lakers will take Ben Simmons then. Right. It wasn't pretty healed, unfortunately. Yeah, he can handle the ball in the transition really well. He gets to team up with D'Angelo Russell again. His shot kind of struggles a bit, but I mean, maybe him and Randall can work something out with that. And then I'm excited to see what Luke Walton would be able to do with him and Randall, see if they could do some small ball stuff there.
Yeah, I think they would definitely utilize his playmaking ability. Like his passing is off the charts, and I mean he can drive to the basket, and I mean with the NBA spacing and the fact that they can't just defenses can't sit in the paint like they can in college. I think a lot of people are kind of overlooking that, but yeah, he's definitely gonna need to shoot, or I think he's gonna be playing a lot of small ball five, depending on what team he goes to. So
Yeah, and I think also he's big enough and long enough to be able to be a good defender if he puts his mind to it. But I mean, that's up to the coaching staff to get that out of him.
When he wanted to, he was a pretty good defender this last year. It's just he had to do so much offensively. It's hard to ask him to play elite defense all the time. So
yeah, and something that when I was writing my kind of profile on him, something that kind of caught my eye, both statistically and kind of physically. He's very similar to Draymond Green, his kind of measurements coming out of college. Obviously, there's nobody like Draymond Green in the in the league, so it's hard to say, this guy's the next Draymond Green, but that's kind of an idea of where he is kind of physically and potentially what he could become. Obviously, you'd have to take some pretty big steps defensively, but Draymond did as well, so kind of gives you an idea of where he is kind of physically and where he could fit in down the road with the Lakers.
Yeah, it would definitely be a lot of fun. It'd be an up-tempo team that has a lot of opportunities in transition. So, all right. So since we're done enjoying the Lakers having a top 3 pick for the lottery on Tuesday, so Hani is up on the clock with the Boston Celtics via the Brooklyn Nets. So thanks a lot, Brooklyn, for trading away all your first-round picks.
Yeah, I am tempted to sabotage the Celtics here, but for the sanctity of this mock draft, I'm going to go with Dragon Bender with the 3rd overall pick.
Has the best name in the draft.
For sure. Shout out to Game of Thrones. I just think they really need a big guy, and they're the kind of team that would be okay with drafting kind of a project with Dragon Bender, since we don't know a whole lot about him since he's been playing overseas. So I think they'd be okay with that. And yeah, they just need front court depth for sure.
Yeah, the overseas prospects are really weird because he's kind of like Hezonja was last year, where Hezonja looked really good on tape, but his coach never played him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like because of an age thing or what exactly, but like his tape looks outstanding. He's just like he could be a really unique player, especially if he adds strength. Like that's the big thing for him. But yeah, he's a heck of a player. So a lot of potential there. All right, so Jacob is up next with the Phoenix Suns, and I think you have their pick later in the first round too. So you're basically just the new general manager of the Suns.
If I'm the new general manager, I have to complain about the millennials then. If the draft kind of plays out like this, and mainly if the Celtics take Bender, it's going to be kind of interesting because a lot of the kind of next guys on big boards and whatnot are guards, and it's the last thing the Suns need with Bledsoe and Booker and Brandon Knight. If it played out like this, I mean, you could potentially see them reaching for somebody like Jakob Poeltl or Labissiere with how poorly Tyson Chandler looked at times last year. But I think rather than reaching for someone like that, I think they would probably go for who I'll have them pick is Jaylen Brown. Really, if you look at their kind of roster right now, they're really young. There aren't a lot of holes really. So anybody you draft, with Jaylen Brown, you could he wouldn't have as much pressure early on, basically. They have PJ Tucker there as a small forward, so he could kind of slowly come in, which would definitely help him.
Well, he'd be a good complementary player to Devin Booker and the point guards that they have there, because Brown's a good defender out on the wing. He's already got like an NBA body and NBA strength, so he just has to learn how to shoot, which is obviously huge. But He's actually a pretty good creator. So I think with him handling the ball quite a bit too, he could create for guys like Booker and get them open shots. And no, I think that's who I would pick for them too. So I actually agree with that pick, as much as it pains me to say I agree with Jacob, but.
It's a wise decision, and I couldn't do it. I thought about having him pick Buddy Hield after I wrote the article, but as much fun as it'd be to see Buddy and Devin Booker just raining threes, it probably wouldn't be too efficient. So I passed on that one.
All right, so next up is Ty, who's not with us. He's going to be, I was about to say texting, DMing us his pick. So, all right, so I saw the word beast, and I thought he was like messing around or something. But all right, so the Minnesota Timberwolves have the 5th pick, and they have obviously probably one of the best at least starting young cores in the league, and they're going to get to add to it with a high pick this year. And Ty is going to give them Henry Ellenson from Marquette University. So that's an interesting pick. Hani, what do you think of that? Actually, let's go to Kyle. Kyle hasn't been able to chime in yet. Kyle, what do you think of Henry Ellenson for the Timberwolves?
I think it's probably a really good fit, especially like you said, they have one of the best players in the league in Karl-Anthony Towns, or at least one of the best future players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be a bit of a stretch on the boards that I'm looking at, but this draft is kind of a really weird combination of players. So I don't hate the pick, but I'm not like super high on it.
Yeah,
to ask some of the Wolves fans that we talk to on Twitter a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at their roster, I mean, they've got Rubio under contract for a decent amount. They've got Zach LaVine, who I think is more of a natural 2-guard, although he's kind of played a little bit of point. And then you've got Wiggins at the 3. You've got a collection of players at the 4 with Gorgie Jang, and I think they have Adrian Payne there, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously Towns. So the weakest link is probably power forward. So, and Ellenson's a guy that can space the floor and give Towns room to operate. So that'd be a pretty good 1-2 punch there with their 2 big guys. So that's a good pick. And like you said, it might be he's not ranked 5th on many big boards or anything like that. But I think the one thing we've noticed with any sports draft is that there's always somebody that's higher on a particular team's board that they'll reach for him. Or whatever, I say reach.
The Wolves aren't a great 3-point shooting team, so I think that he would help in that aspect. He'd be able to space the floor a little bit more.
Yeah.
With Rubio starting and Wiggins not having a great 3-point shot.
Yeah, definitely. And they should just have Towns shoot all their threes for him. He should
shoot every shot.
They should rotate possessions between Wiggins driving and Towns shooting.
Right.
All right, so next up is Kyle. We're throwing it back to Kyle, who with the New Orleans Pelicans. Kyle, who's going to be joining Anthony Davis?
All right, that's actually why I really wanted this. So I tanked the poll because I was like, I want the Pelicans pick because I've been thinking about it. So I'm actually really excited the way this draft played out because I had one player in mind. If I couldn't get Brandon Ingram, somehow to the Pelicans, which is impossible, I had one player in mind for them. They need someone who can basically feed the ball to Anthony Davis, take those outside shots, take any shots really, because they're just a horrible shooting team, and they need someone who's going to be a bit healthier than the average Pelican. So. With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, they will select Chris Dunn from Providence.
Ooh, very nice.
That was my guy from the start.
Chris Dunn. Yeah, he's very impressive to watch. Good creator. I think he has a lot of potential on defense, and outside shots a little streaky. But if he gets that together, he's gonna be really good. So that's a good pick for them. I like that. All right, so that puts me up at number 7 with the Denver Nuggets via the Knicks. Sorry, Knicks fans. A side note: have you guys seen that Knicks account that tweets at us, just in sheer agony about like them keeping Rambis.
As they should be.
I feel kind of bad for him, but
They did meet with Vogel this weekend, though, apparently, so maybe there's some
hey,
brighter days on the horizon, but
little,
probably
I imagine meetings between Phil Jackson and the coaches are just like, so, you going to run the triangle? No. Okay, see you. And Rambis said yes, so that's why he's the favorite right now.
And Shaw's apparently smart enough to know not to go to the Knicks, so
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so with the Nuggets at number 7, I'm going to give them just the best player available on my board, which kind of gives them a 1-2 punch in their backcourt. But I'm going to give them Jamal Murray from Kentucky. Kind of undersized for a 2-guard a little bit, but man, the kid can shoot the ball. He can shoot the ball. He can just fill it up. Great scorer, and they drafted Emmanuel Mudiay last year, and that would be pretty formidable duo as their backcourt for many years to come. So Nuggets are going to take Jamal Murray, taking the first Kentucky player off the board. It seems like they always have like 10 guys that are like eligible to get drafted. So all right, so throwing it to the 8th pick now is the Sacramento Kings with Dylan picking for them. Dylan, how does it feel to be the Kings GM? By the way?
It does not feel great. It's only been about 20 seconds, and I'm not liking it too much.
You already want to resign?
Right, yeah. I'm going to collect that check and get out of here. But for the 8th pick, I have them taking Buddy Hield. They were trying to shop Ben McLemore last year, it looks like, at the trade deadline. So they don't really have too much of a future there, that 2-guard, and they need somebody that can score besides DeMarcus Cousins if he's even on the team. And Rudy Gay, I mean, he's Rudy Gay, so I feel like Field would give him a good option going forward, even if he is a little older than the other prospects.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised he fell all the way to 8. You know, there's a lot of people saying that the Lakers should pick him at 3, and Jacob. No, but like I mean, the way the ending of his season, well, his whole season really, his whole season, he was just incredible. So I mean, his stock has just skyrocketed. But yeah, he'll be interesting because he could go really high like that, or he could drop maybe to like the end of the top 10. He could go really anywhere there. So
yeah, there's a lot of space, like a lot of different projections for him really.
Yeah, and I was gonna either pick him or Murray. I just think Murray's ceiling is higher. You know, he's younger. I just love Murray's skill set. I mean, I just think he's got more complete package than Hield will. Although Hield is, I mean, like I said, just phenomenal scorer, phenomenal shooter. So it's tough to pass on that. But all right, the 9th pick goes to the North. Congratulations to the Toronto Raptors, by the way, for getting to the conference finals for the first time in their franchise history. But unfortunately, the bad news is now Hani is your GM. So, Hani, who they're going to take with the 9th pick?
First of all, I'm picking twice for them, so even better news. I'm going to go with the best player I have left, and that's Timothy Luwawu.
Nice.
I think he's one of my favorite players in this draft. I think he's probably like the 4th or 5th best player in this draft, and yeah, just like what he brings in, I think he's not a good shooter right now, but he can be a great defensive wing, and adding more playmakers around the guys that they have is kind of a need that the Raptors have, and with the possibility that DeRozan leaves, I think it's even a little bit more important that they can get someone like Luwawu.
For sure. And I feel the same way about Luwawu that you do. I think he's not a lot of people are really talking about him, but I think he could be, I mean, one of the best prospects to come out of this draft class. So at 9, I mean, that could be pretty good value for the Raptors. So especially if DeRozan leaves. But all right. So 10th, with the 10th pick, is Jacob with the Milwaukee Bucks. Jacob, you have to pick the longest player in the draft to fit their roster.
Well, that changes everything. Let me look up some wingspans here real quick.
Go to Jay Billis's database.
They're kind of a weird team right now because they have a lot, again, like the Suns did. They have a lot of young pieces that there aren't a lot of holes. You could probably most notably improve at point guard over Michael Carter Williams, but there isn't really a point guard here that you could take. Maybe if they really like someone like Demetrius Jackson or something, but instead, Greg Monroe got benched for stretches last season. Miles Plumlee is a free agent, so there could be a hole there at center. So I will have the Milwaukee Bucks take Jakob Poeltl, 7'1", 240 pounds. I mean, it's kind of your traditional center.
He's skilled, very skilled.
Yeah, very, very much so. I remember watching him last year against Jahlil Okafor, and he more than held his own in that matchup. So he gives them kind of some more size, someone that's a little more of a natural center than Greg Monroe is too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Ty up on the board now with Orlando Magic, and I think we just took two of his picks.
Yeah, I saw that he was like, "I'll take the Poeltl."
He wanted Luwawu, and then he wanted Pirtle. So now Ty has to pick somebody else. Ty is using all capital letters right now. He is angry. No, but like I'm looking at this draft order, and it's really interesting because like we've done the top 10 picks, and when I look at them, a lot of them are guys that could, like Pirtle, for example. I could see him going in the top 5 somewhere, and he was picked at number 10. Like that's why I think this draft is so interesting, because that, especially near the top, because it can just go such a variety of ways, as opposed to last year. Last year it was kind of like there was a little bit of that, but you kind of knew like who was ahead of everybody else. So
yeah, after basically the top 2, I mean, you could see anybody going in kind of that 3 to probably 14 or 16 range. You could see anybody going just about anywhere. So I mean, it's not a nearly as good of a draft as we've had in the last couple of years, but it's an interesting draft because of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be really fun if the Lakers have a top 3 pick.
Okay, we're not gonna get it.
Adam Silver, get it done. All right, so Ty has given us his pick. The pick is in. He is going to take Marquise Chris from Washington. He's a power forward, 6'10", 230 pounds. He's still actually 18 years old, so he's still really young. So yeah, he's given that to the Magic, and I guess I could kind of see that, especially because we don't know who their head coach is going to be yet, but yeah, I mean it depends on that if you think Aaron Gordon's a power forward or a small forward. I know he can play both, but yeah, I guess that's a team that's kind of tough to draft for, don't you think?
Yeah, if I were the Magic, I mean, you probably just look at it and take best player available.
Yeah.
Because they just have such kind of a young core that they've already started building around, that you can just kind of sit back and if somebody falls, just take them and just kind of take whoever you feel the best player available is.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, you are on the clock with the 12th pick in the Utah Jazz, my second least favorite team in the league. So make sure you botch this pick.
All right, so first of all, I'm really upset with Hani and Jacob right now because they totally picked in order who I had for the Jazz. So I was kind of scrambling. Yeah, I was kind of scrambling because like the Jazz, they have a really good young core, so they don't really need someone to like come in and like build around because they have, I think, like 4 or 5 guys that are their key pieces that are under 26 or 27. So I'm looking at them. I think if out of everyone in the lottery, I think they have the best chance of actually trading the pick. But if they don't, I think they take Denzel Valentine because he's just my BPA at that point. So yeah, that's who I have him.
Mr. Triple Double, Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, I watched Valentine quite a bit in the Big Ten this year. I mean, he's a really fun player to watch. He can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
so it'd be interesting to see him how he fits on that team. But yeah, he's an exciting prospect. He could bring another offensive threat really to that team in a variety of ways.
For sure. Yeah, he's, very, very skilled prospect, good and pretty good all-around player. And the knock on him is obviously his age. He's 22 years old, which I don't really consider that a knock. I guess it's just GMs love those younger prospects because they have more time to develop. But some of those older prospects are ready to go right when they get in the drafts. You look at a guy like Damian Lillard, so you never know.
Yeah, I think he gives. Oh my bad. I think that he gives them another ball handler and creator outside of Gordon Hayward on the wing position, which it'll be a help for them because they have some pretty good post players right now, like Derek Favors, obviously. So yeah, I think he gives them another creator and playmaker.
Yeah, like a versatile playmaker. Sometimes you just can't have enough of those, So
right.
And it'll be interesting too, because they have Exum coming back, so they're basically gonna have two rookies in that backcourt in this scenario next season, and so that'll be a fun group to watch.
They've got a lot of young talent. It's just kind of crazy that they couldn't really take severe steps forward this year. So they'll be an interesting team to watch next year, though. So okay, I am now on the clock with lucky pick number 13. So I'm gonna pick Kobe Bryant and trade him to the Lakers. Shout out to the Hornets. Thanks for that. Although I'm pretty sure that was a deal that was already structured beforehand. But I'm going to take, the best player available on my board with this pick. So with the 13th pick, the Suns, via the Wizards, are going to take Skal Labissière from Kentucky. Jacob, as you mentioned earlier, the Tyson Chandler signing hasn't really worked out this year, and he's making a lot of money. So this gives them another big that could ideally fit next to Alex Len. And Skal's a guy that can shoot from mid-range and space the floor a little bit. He's just very raw right now. Has a lot of kinks to iron out, but could be a really good player once he does. So. All right, so that puts the Bulls on the clock, and that would be Dylan picking with the 14th pick.
Okay, I have the Bulls taking Demetrius Jackson here. I think they just need another ball handler to help Jimmy Butler out a little bit. Because Derrick Rose, he played all right in stretches last year, but he can't seem to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about getting a front court player, but they did draft Bobby Portis, who turned out to be a pleasant surprise for them.
Yeah. So
I just think Jackson gives them another ball handler, and he can be their point guard of the future by chance.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the Nuggets are on the clock via the Houston Rockets. Hani, you are the Nuggets GM. You've taken over my job from earlier, so you're up.
All right, so since you already drafted a guard for them and they're loaded with front court talent, I am going to go with, I think, the best wing that I have left, and that's Taurean Prince from Baylor.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, for some reason I really like his game. I think he's got this herky-jerky, all over the place kind of game, and he's really good at just getting to the ball wherever he is. And he's got some skills to him too, and I think they can use his defense and his hustle, and it'll be a good foundation for them on the wing.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. The Nuggets, like I said, like the Magic, they have a lot of young, pretty good talent, and so it's kind of hard. Teams like that are hard to draft for, because you just create a logjam somewhere usually. So
yeah.
But no, I like that pick. I like Taurean Prince a lot. I think. He gets kind of overlooked a little bit because he was a senior this year. He's not one of those younger prospects. So, but no, I actually like that pick. So, all right, that puts the Celtics back on the clock. Jacob, you are basically the general manager of the Celtics. So, you're on the clock.
I need to find the player with the most bust potential. Then. This team's ridiculous to draft for because, I mean, you just mentioned log jams, and they have log jams just about everywhere.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if they held on to all these draft picks just because they don't have room to add all this talent. And I would guess that their biggest weakness would be, I mean, they took Dragon Bender, so I mean that's another front court player.
Yeah.
Might be looking at another small forward as a backup, but Torian Prince is off the board, so I'll just go with probably the best player available at this point. Is a younger player that you can kind of let him have some years to develop, which is Deontay Davis out of Michigan State. He's 19, but he's 6'10". He had kind of flashes at times this year, so it is another front court player, but they are losing Tyler Zeller. Well, most likely losing Tyler Zeller, I should say. I don't know that he'll want to go back into that log jam. So it'll be interesting to see what they do because they just have so many picks and already such a roster that's just full of young players that are just log jams everywhere. So I don't know what they'll do with these picks.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you stockpile so many picks. Eventually, you're just gonna have a logjam of young players that it's kind of tough to draft. So I'd be kind of shocked if they didn't make any kind of draft day trade or something like that. So they'll be an interesting team to watch for sure because they have so many picks. But all right, so now Ty is back up with the Grizzlies. I guess we'll see how many. That's an interesting pick. I was seeing. I figured we would take like 12 of his picks in a row, but okay. He's wavering a little bit.
Oh my God!
He changed.
No. He's way better.
All right. I should have made a rule that once you say a pick, like that's the pick. All right. So with the 17th pick, Ty with the Grizzlies is going to take Diamond Stone. He initially had Thon Maker there, and Hawney talked him out of it. So Diamond Stone, the center from Maryland, is the pick at number 17 with the Grizzlies. So that puts Kyle back up on the clock with the Detroit Pistons. Kyle, who's Stan Van going to take?
All right, so after roughly 3 minutes of looking at the Detroit Pistons depth chart and a quick analysis of what they need, I think they need some front court help. Not necessarily like someone to come in and fill a starter role, but definitely someone to give Andre Drummond some help, so he's not playing 45 minutes a game or, something ridiculous. I know that's more minutes than what's in a game, but
he's going to sit out 3 minutes because of the hack of Drummond?
Yeah. So I have them taking Domantas Sabonis out of Gonzaga.
Nice.
Feel like he'd be a good fit in there. Kind of a similar player, honestly, and to Andre Drummond. Obviously, there's no real comparison to probably the best center in the league currently, but I think he'll provide some help and could turn into a brilliant player in a couple of years.
Yeah, Sabonis, I was really keeping a close eye on him during the tournament because I was kind of skeptical of his game and how it would translate to the next level, but he played really well from what I saw in the tournament. So I was pretty impressed with those last few games that they played. So yeah, I mean he's definitely going to be in that range to go in the teen picks. So I guess you never know, but yeah, definitely a guy Detroit could use. So. That puts me back on the clock, and I've retaken my job as the Denver Nuggets general manager from Hawney. So I have the 19th pick via the Portland Blazers. Let's see. So the Nuggets took a small forward and a guard. Man, this team is so hard to draft for, especially now, because those are the two positions I would look at. But oh man, since nobody has picked this guy. I'm going to take him. I don't think anybody has. The Denver Nuggets are going to pick Wade Baldwin from Vanderbilt. I know they just drafted Moutier last year, but I guess this gives them a little more depth just in their guard rotation. He's a 6'4" point guard, so pretty big, good-sized point guard. Still only 20 years old, and every time I watched him, I was pretty impressed with his game. So, kind of surprised he's still on the board, but that's kind of how the draft plays out sometimes. So, all right, that puts Dylan back on the clock with the Indiana Pacers, with Nate McMillan as your new head coach. Dylan, who are you going to give Nate with the 20th pick?
With the 20th pick, I'm going to give – I think you're going to like this one. I'm going to give them Bryce Johnson.
No, my man. My man.
They don't really have too many glaring weaknesses, and they did take Miles Turner last year, and he turned out pretty good. So I just give them some more front court help as Mahimi might be leaving, and so I'm just going to give them some more depth there. And Bryce Johnson, he rebounded the ball really well, and he's a little bit older, but he's really athletic, and they could use that. So.
All right, this is the part where I go on about Bryce Johnson for about an hour.
Yeah, you can take a little.
I'll keep it short and sweet with Bryce. The leap from his junior to senior year was outstanding. Like, he just took such a massive leap. He was just so much more focused. His on-ball defense still has a long way to go, but as a weak side shot blocker, like you said, he's just a great athlete. He uses that really well. He's got a little mid-range jumper. He can shoot from about 15 feet out. Great rebounder. Yeah, I mean, I love Bryce. He was one of my favorite Tar Heels ever. I was very sad he didn't get a title, but yeah, I hope Bryce gets drafted pretty early on draft night. He's one of my favorite Tar Heels. So, good pick, Dylan. Good pick.
Thank you, Gary.
I'm still gonna block you after.
I was gonna say, does that squash our beef from earlier?
No, you're still gonna get blocked, but it's all right. All right, so Hani, you get the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks are an interesting team this offseason. A lot of free agents on that roster, so they can kind of draft pretty much just about anything. So, who do you have them taking at number 21?
I got them getting some wing help. Get it? Because Hawks.
I could have swore Anthony wasn't on this podcast.
I know, right?
But yeah, I'll draft Furkan Korkmaz, the Turkish fella.
What did you call me? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy, and they need wings.
You were tweeting about him the other day, right?
Maybe, I don't remember.
I thought you were tweeting something about him.
Well, there was one thing, is that there's an awesome video of him dunking in a slam dunk contest with a Darth Vader mask on. So that should be a reason alone for him to be drafted.
So he's getting the top pick.
I was going to say number one overall, probably.
But yeah, he's an athletic guy, and I think they need a lot of athleticism on that team. And they got Bazemore potentially leaving, and Kyle Korver hasn't been really good for a couple of years. Just this year. But so yeah, I think that's something they need. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting prospect. Those international guys get overlooked a lot. But yeah, he's definitely he's higher on most boards than 21. A little bit higher, not a ton higher, but from a lot of boards that I've seen. So yeah, that's a pretty good pick. So that puts Jacob on the clock at number 22 with the Charlotte Hornets. Jacob.
I think the biggest probably need for them come draft time, I'd imagine Jeremy Lin has kind of priced his way out of Charlotte. Played pretty well this year. Yeah. I won't be tweeting about that because I don't want.
I'm gonna get so many hate tweets because of that comment.
I don't want my mentions to be lit on fire. Again, probably a weird team to draft for because Lord knows where they're gonna go with this pick. They turned down an apparent Godfather offer to take Frank Kaminsky. So it's hard telling. Tyler Ulis is probably the best point guard on the board, but they already have a small point guard in Kemba Walker, so I don't know that they'll want to take another small point
He had a
guard.
fantastic year.
Yeah, he did. But really, there's nobody else really there, so I'll have the Charlotte taking Tyler Ulis to slot in as a backup next to or behind Kemba Walker.
Yeah, Ulis is a guy that if he was like even like 3 or 4 inches taller, man, he would be getting. I think he'd be going so much higher. But because he's 5'8", 5'9", just not getting a lot of love. But
I mean, he's still I believe he was a conference defensive player of the year. So I mean, he's still a good defensive player, but he's just 5'9", so he's going to have matchup problems against some of these bigger point guards. So no matter how quick you are, you can't teach height, as the old saying goes. So he's going to have issues.
Yeah, I mean, he was just an outstanding leader for Kentucky. Really well composed. I mean, for a sophomore, a 20-year-old kid, just really impressed with his leadership skills and just his all-around game at Kentucky. Just, I mean, kind of emerged as, at times at least, him and Murray just kind of traded places as like their best player on the floor. So it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. So, all right, that puts the Celtics back on the clock with Ty. This is a good time to stay on Maker there, Ty, if you're still listening.
I think that's what he wants to do.
There, sure enough. That's who, he's going to pick. So with the 23rd pick, the Celtics, via Ty Luong, take Thon Maker. So now they have 12 front court players.
And they have just taken the player with the biggest bust potential, so this is the most natural fit that I can imagine. They may just take him higher than this, would be the only difference.
Might just take him number 3 overall.
There you go.
Screw it.
As Ty said, they want Kevin Durant so they can have the next Kevin Durant.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Kyle is back up on the clock with the Philadelphia 76ers via the Miami Heat. So Kyle, who's gonna join those young pieces with the Sixers?
So you had drafted Brandon Ingram earlier, and I think that they need more backcourt help than anything, obviously, because they have like 5 players in the front court. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to draft for Philadelphia Malik Beasley out of Florida State. I feel like that's just the perfect spot for him to go, and I feel like that's a good pickup for them. So Malik Beasley.
Yeah, I mean, with them you can't go wrong with perimeter talent because they have so many, front court players. That was my thinking with them behind Simmons. It's just, I mean, if I know, they're going to make trades and stuff and kind of clear up the logjam because they have Dario Saric coming over too, so that just kind of adds to it. But if I know that they were going to clear that up, I would take Simmons if I were them. But yeah, definitely got to get some perimeter talent, some shooting, and so far we've given that to them. So I know Philly's shaking up the front office, so they should probably give us all jobs, right?
No kidding.
It might be better off that way, honestly.
Oh, gosh. That puts me on the clock with the cross-hallway rivals, the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me check and see who is 60th on Draft Express. Oh, man, the Clippers are an interesting team to draft for because they're Blake and Chris Paul entering the last year of their contracts. And yeah, they've definitely got to get – I think they've got to get a wing player because Paul Pierce is approximately 62 years old.
Seems pretty low estimate.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing him a favor, but oh man, I'm looking at the board here, and it's kind of slim pickings in this range. At least I might have to reach for somebody, but all right. I guess with the 25th pick, the Clippers are going to take least I think he's still staying in school, but or still going to the draft. They're going to take Malachi Richardson from Syracuse. Malachi had every time I watched him in the tournament, and I mean I watched him because he was in the ACC, just really impressed with him. He's a freshman, 6'6". I think he measured like a 7-foot wingspan too, so like his measurables were really good at the 2 position. So stepped up in big moments for Syracuse, and gives the Clippers another guy that can play out on the wing, and I think because of that length, he can play the 2 or the 3. So I'm going to give them Malachi Richardson. I'm sure Justin Russo will comment on that at some point. But. All right, that's going to put. Let me see. That's putting the Sixers back on the clock, and Dylan is now their GM. So playing musical chairs with the Sixers.
They do need a lot of backcourt depth, so I'm gonna give them another backcourt player, in Dejounte Murray, out of Washington. He was a freshman, and he's a young guy, so they don't need to like play him right away. But he gives them another score, and he's really good in transition. And with Brandon Ingram going there, I think they'll be a good pairing down the line. But they have like so many front court players, so I couldn't really do that. Otherwise, they might take like a draft and stash player there, but they've done that the past few years anyway. So
yeah, that's the guy I was also looking at with that last pick was Dejounte Murray. So I was kind of torn.
Yeah, I wanted Beasley, but he ended up going there anyway. So it works out, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just gotta get guards for them. So, Hani, you are, I guess, you're still the Raptors general manager. So. You are on the clock with the 27th pick.
Okay, so I'm going to go with a somewhat similar pick and pick a wing guy, but a wing guy that I think can eventually play as a stretch 4. I'm going to go with Juan Hernangomez. He's a good shooter, and I think the 4 spot is probably their biggest need right now, with Patrick Peterson probably being their best player there, and then
Patterson.
Luis Scola being a guy. So yeah, I think
he's Scola.
I think that.
Good observation.
Am I wrong though?
Not wrong.
Yeah, that's my pick.
All right, so the 28th pick is now up, and that's the Phoenix Suns, which is Jacob again, via the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jacob, the Suns, if I'm looking at my board, I took Skal Labissiere for them, and you took Jaylen Brown. So who are they going to take with the 28th pick?
It's another team that I'd be surprised if they held on to all their picks because they don't have that many holes. They do keep this pick. They'd probably do a draft and stash type of guy. But just to make sure this gets on the podcast, they're going to take the big zucchini from China. Zuki, I guess would be how you say it. I don't really know. We'll just call him the big zucchini.
That's what he should just put on the back of his journey, just back of his jersey.
Oh, nickname night, absolutely, just the big zucchini.
Oh, if his agent doesn't take full advantage of that, he needs to get a new agent.
And shout out to the Draft Express commenter who posted that one. That's a fantastic nickname.
The big zucchini. I like it. All right, Ty is back up on the clock with the San Antonio Spurs, who just got ousted by the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games. Spurs will be – I want to say that they're always interesting in the draft, but I feel like they could draft a guy that's not even projected to be drafted, and he'll somehow turn out into a great three-point shooter. So that'll be interesting. So we're going to wait for Ty to send us his pick.
Ooh.
And, oh, come on, Ty.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
Come on, Ty. It is a good pick, but it's a guy I wanted. So Ty is definitely fired. All right, so Ty with the 29th pick, and I would hate that if the Spurs got him, but he's going to take DeAndre Bembry, who is probably he's in the discussion for number 1 for me with the Lakers in their 2nd round pick. Really good wing defender. Has a little ways to go with his shot, but man, like potential there to be a great 3-and-D option for whoever gets him. So it would be fitting that the Spurs get him and turn him into a great shooter. So, all right. So Kyle is on the clock now to round out the first round. You have the Golden State Warriors. Kyle, who are the defending champs going to take?
So the Warriors have 0 needs. I think we all know that.
I think they need shooting, right?
Yeah, definitely. They need a good 3-point shooter.
They need a point guard more than anything, I think.
I know, right? So I'm just going to throw out a name that I think would be really interesting to see what they do with him in Sheik Diallo out of Kansas. And the reason I'm doing that is because Ty stole DeAndre Bembry. I was going to have the Warriors keep him, and that would have been just insane. But yeah, Sheik Diallo, they don't need anything, though. That's my take.
They can draft anything, and everybody be like, "Oh, okay."
You should have had you should have had them take Gary.
I can
point
hold
guard on the board.
I can hold Steph Curry's towel for him.
It'd be interesting to see with the Warriors. I don't know how their cap situation, but with Barnes being a free agent and them and Ezeli and them potentially chasing Durant, this could be a pick that they sell to somebody, or it could be a pick that they just draft and stash. But I'm not sure what their cap situation looks like.
Yeah.
So my thought process would be that the Lakers could even potentially buy that pick and draft a couple guys at the end of the first into the beginning of the second, and I would be really excited about that. We all know how our last bought pick worked out in Jordan Clarkson, so
Yeah.
I think Mitch, if he were to do something, he could do it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be. I don't know. Like I said, the Warriors can draft whatever, and it's like, okay. Like,
I mean, they're also going to have Kevon Looney join the team basically next year. So I mean, there's a front court player already that's going to be joining the team that was pretty highly rated last year. So.
The moment I've been dreading the whole draft. I'm on the clock with the Boston Celtics. With the
I think
everybody's got to pick
Gary?
the Celtics tonight. So.
Yeah, Celtics via the 76ers are on the clock, and I'm not even gonna look at like the previous picks that we've done because they've already had like 3 or 4 picks to add to the logjam that they have. So let me look at.
Take yourself. Just do it.
Oh, I'm not giving myself to the Celtics. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can sabotage them from the inside out. You can
Not
do
a draft
you
and
can start
stash.
recording conversations on Snapchat, and we all know how that goes. You won't get blamed for anything.
Secret agent for the Lakers. All right, so the Celtics, I feel really weird giving them another big guy, but I'm going to give them Steven Zimmerman from UNLV. He got hurt last year, I think, kind of towards the end, but 7 foot tall, 240 pounds. I mean, ideal size at the center position. He's got a pretty good foundational skill set already, so I think he's a pretty good player. And I think at this stage in the draft, he would be pretty good value. So Steven Zimmerman is the pick at 31, which leads us to our last pick with the Lakers at number 32, which is going to be made by Dylan and me because on our Twitter poll we literally tied on the votes to who should make this pick. So, Dylan, do you want to go first or do you want to go second?
You can go first. It's fine.
All right.
I'm interested to see what you have to say.
This is tough because there's 2 guys that I'm really looking at, but so the Lakers took Ben Simmons first. Do you have your pick in mind? Because I'm still kind of
yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So with the 32nd pick, I'll have the Lakers taking A.J. Hammonds.
Okay.
He's a big guy, 7-footer out of Purdue. He does a lot of things really well. He's a little bit older, so that's like his knock on him, really.
Mm-hmm.
But he can stretch the floor. He can hit a good, like a good 15, 18-foot jumper. He can play. He's a really good defender though as well to put beside Randall. He averaged like 4.5 blocks per game per 40 minutes last year. He rebounds the ball really well. He's really long. Just somebody that they need just because Roy Hibbert is Roy Hibbert, and they can't keep him on the team. So.
Oh man. Yeah,
So
that's
Hibbert is also a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of the guys I was looking at, was AJ Hammonds. I really like him at 32 if he's there for the Lakers. I have a feeling he's going to get picked earlier, though. I know he's a senior. He's almost 24, I think, already.
Yeah, he's in like Draft Express has him like 42, which is I think is a little high, or a little late. But if he's there,
I mean, he's an ideal fit because he's really big, like 7 foot, 280. I don't know what his wingspan is, but it looks like he has really long arms.
I think it was 7'3". I wrote him earlier, so I'm pretty sure it was 7'3".
Okay, and yeah, like just big body. He can shoot, which is perfect for alongside Julius Randle, and if they have Ben Simmons like in this mock draft, so that kind of helps. But all right, the pick I'm gonna make, since you took AJ Hammonds, and that was one of two guys I was really looking at. I'm going to go with a guy that I hated these past 4 years because he was really good in the ACC, but I'm going to go with Malcolm Brogdon from Virginia. One of the best defenders, wing defenders in the draft. Pretty good three-point shooter off the catch. I don't know what he was like, what his percentage was off the dribble, but just was a really good player. Was the ACC Player of the Year this year. So, yeah, like him, Hammonds, and Bembry are like three guys I'm really looking at for the Lakers at number 32. So, all right, I think that's it. We could keep on going, but the Lakers don't have any more picks, so it's like, what's the point of that?
Right.
All right.
I think if they drafted AJ Hammonds, I'd have to seriously consider turning in my fan card because I already hated him for 4 years at Purdue, so he would make sense though. I mean, he was a great defensive player. He's a rim protector. He might be the best one in the draft, which is a big need next to Randall and Simmons if he's drafted. And he doesn't fall over, so he's better than Roy Hibbert. So I think
it's that's the criteria that there is.
It's a low bar. One of the other guys that I would kind of be interested in, he had some injury problems last year, but Karis LeVert, 6'7", point guard and shooting guard. He has a ton of talent. He just got some health questions, and he's 22 years old. He'll be 22.
Yeah.
Him and Gary Payton, GP3, GP2, whatever it is, another defensive player. I just think they need defense more than anything.
Yeah, definitely need perimeter defense, especially because I would expect Clarkson to be back, and he's got a long way to go defensively. Russell looks like he's going to be a pretty good defender, and I think that's kind of the theme. You either got to go center or out on the wing. So. All right, that's gonna do it for us. We're gonna have a written version of this mock draft up tomorrow for those that don't want to sit through this podcast for every pick. So keep an eye out for that. Tomorrow's the last day before the lottery. How nervous is everybody?
I literally took off work and have somebody pick up my shift so I can sweat nervously on my couch.
I was on the other side of that. I was actually hoping that I was scheduled during the lottery because I just didn't want to watch it. But no, I mean I'm kind of at ease with it. Like I'm kind of expecting to lose the pick, but obviously hoping that we do. But you never know. About 50-50 chance. So
I'm doing everything I did the exact same way that I did it last year. So
I'm kind of in the same boat as Gary, and I mean I'm going into this expecting to lose the pick, and I mean I'm really not nervous at all because I mean I know it would suck to have kind of watched this season and not get any quote unquote reward in the draft for it, but I mean, in my eyes, going into the offseason, the only thing I cared about was Byron being fired. So, I mean, it's already been a successful offseason. And then on top of that, I mean, if we lose the pick, there's no protections or anything on it next year. We'd get the pick no matter what, and it's a much, much, much better draft next year.
And you get that additional cap space to use too. So
yeah, exactly. So
$5 million.
I know a lot of people are really nervous about it, but I mean, Byron was fired, so the offseason's a win. Anything from here is just gravy.
Huge.
Yeah. The only reason I like Ingram a lot as a prospect. So if he were to get on the team next year, I think that'd be really good with Luke and D'Angelo. But besides that, I mean, I could truly. It's not an issue if we lose the pick, really.
My big knock on Ingram is obviously his decision making because he went to Duke. So,
Touché.
no, if you come away with the draft with Ingram or Simmons, I mean, yeah, that's phenomenal. So, all right, that's gonna do it for us. Like I said, we're gonna have a written version of this mock draft up tomorrow. So if you want to just kind of quickly roll through it, you can do that, or you can listen to us and have a little analysis with it. Thanks, guys, for joining me. This was fun. We'll have to do another one after the lottery. Hopefully the Lakers have 2 picks for us to make again. So, yeah, thanks for everybody that followed along with us. We had a pretty damn big following today compared to what we normally do. So appreciate that. This is up on the site already, but we'll tweet it out again, and we'll have the written version up tomorrow. So thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks, Gary.